case you didn't notice, 2 weeks ago, Bernie Madoff passed away. Bernie Madoff was quite well known, to say the least, but when he died, there weren't many obituaries or death notices, and certainly no tributes. He was responsible for the largest Ponzi scheme, and he became the symbol of the 2008 recession and all of the greed that's associated with corporate abuse. What made matters even worse was he was a Jew, and everyone knew he was a Jew. And statistics show there was a rise in anti-Semitism because of him. You have to wonder, when Ken Lay was found guilty of fraud with Enron, nobody spoke of his religion. Or when there was the WorldCom accounting scandal with Bernard Evers, nobody knew, Catholic, Protestant. Or the Adelphia cable involving billions of dollars, John Regis and his son are still in prison. Nobody spoke about their religion. But when it's a Madoff or a Milliken or a Boesky, everybody does. Why is that? Well, a hint is found in this week's Torah portion where we are told the very, very important words, V'lo sechalu et shem kochi v'nikdashti b'soch b'nei Yisrael. God commands the Jewish people, you shall not profane my holy name, and I shall be sanctified amongst the children of Israel. This is the law of Chilul Hashem and Kiddush Hashem. What we do can bring shame on God's name, or it can bring honor. The question is, why did this commandment have to be phrased in the positive and the negative? It could have been enough to just say, you shall not profane my name, or you shall sanctify my name. Why both? And from this, our sages tell us that the Torah is teaching us this important lesson for our people to remember. Everything a Jew does, every action we as Jews take in our daily lives must ultimately be considered a Kiddush Hashem or a Chil Hashem, either profaning God's name or sanctifying God's name. Because we are Jews, our actions cannot be viewed as being neutral. All of our actions, our individual actions, relate to all Jews and ultimately reflect upon our Creator. I'll never forget an interview I saw on television with the immortal baseball manager, Casey Stengel. When he was asked who was the best pitcher he had ever seen, he instantly replied, the Jewish kid from Brooklyn. Yes, everyone knew that Sandy Koufax was a Jew, but I wonder if it had been some pitcher from out in Iowa, would Stengel have said the Episcopalian from the Midwest? Or think of this, Supreme Court Justice Rogers. Do you know, Catholic, Protestant? Nobody knows, nobody cares. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, everyone knew. Secretary of State, Colin Powell, Catholic, Protestant. Henry Kissinger, people knew he was a Jew. And in our time, Bill Cosby and Charlie Rose, nobody spoke about their religious affiliation, but Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein, everybody spoke about the Jews. I learned this lesson when I was in high school. I used to go to a high school on the Lower East Side, Rabbi Jacob Joseph High School. I used to have to leave the house every morning at 7:30, take a bus and then a train. And school was from about 8:30 in the morning until 6 at night, 6 days a week, except for Friday afternoons. So the trip home by train was a chance to let loose. So I and my friends were a bit rambunctious. Rambunctious, the Yiddish translation is wilde chayes. We used to run through the trains, hang on the overhead straps, nothing destructive, just plain clean fun. But once while running through the train, I brushed past, or it might have been I brushed through a person, and he said to me, "Son, you're wearing a skull cap on your head. If you want to do these things on the train, make sure you first take off the skull cap." And I understood from that moment on, and it's become clear ever since, the reputation of all of us is in the hands of each of us. Every business or social relationship, our behavior reflects either positively or negatively on the entire Jewish people. We are not just part of the Jewish people, we are the Jewish people, each and every one of us. Shabbat Shalom.